Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about how to use OBS. OBS is a program that lets you record what's on your computer screen. So it's very useful if you want to say give like a demonstration or something like that. You know, the most common way it's used is you will open a PowerPoint and then you kind of just talk through your PowerPoint, and that's actually how I make my lectures, is using this program. So first of all, you just start it by going to your Windows, Start key here, and you find OBS. There it is, OBS Studio. Don't click on Install, click OBS Studio, please. And then it should start up, and I've already got it set up. And the way OBS, it's neat because it has like different inputs, so you can kind of control what's going on with your screen. So for example, let's change, we're going to go to there's different scenes. These different scenes arrange different sources. And I think the best way to kind of explain that is just to do it. So let's click on display with computer mic. So there you just saw my face disappear, but you can still hear my voice. And so what this is going to do is it's just going to display whatever's on your screen. And it looks infinite because it's displaying itself. But if let's open a couple programs so you can see what's going to happen. So I just opened Audacity, and if I was going to give an Audacity tutorial, I could start, talking about, okay, yeah, this is what happens when you hit File, this is what you hit Edit. If I go to the File folder, you can see the different files I've been working on. So it's just recording this with only my voice. It's not including anything else, right? It's not including a picture or anything like that. And you can see here, that's because the sources, one is audio input device, and if I hit the gear, you can see it's set up to pick up the microphone. I could hit default, but the problem is there is no microphone on this computer, so default would just make it so you can't hear anything at all. So we'll just leave it there. Okay. And then I've got it set up display capture, and you could actually change the size of your display if you wanted to, and you could have multiple displays like this. I'll show you what happens. But this is just, right now, this is just to show you what it's recording, the display, what's on the monitor. But you can add a web browser, you can add, they have a special setup for games, video capture device, that's basically the camera. But there's lots of different things you can capture using this, right? But you're not going to need to, I just want to show you this. This is how, so you know that this exists. You don't need to do this. Actually, please don't change the settings because it'll make it possibly more difficult for other students to use. But that's just the basic thing where you just want the screen and your voice. But let's say you want your face in there. So I have this display with webcam and webcam mic. So there you go. Now you can see my face, right? So there I am. And the background's not the greatest. If there's student interest, I could make like a green screen. We can try and figure out how to get a green screen up here, and I can show you how to do a chroma key. But you can also just kind of move the computer screen around if you want to change that, or you could put like a poster behind you. There's lots of different things you could do. For now, my purpose here is just to explain how this works. So I added, you'll notice, okay, so if we go back here, it just says display capture, audio input capture. You notice here that I added the video capture device, right? And that's the webcam. And initially it's big, but you can make it bigger or smaller with these keys. I can make my head bigger or smaller. So when you're doing this, you could change it depending on how you want your face to appear. You can also squish it, or I'm sorry, this isn't squishing it. This is, if you just click the side, it's going to scale. If you press Alt, A-L-T, it actually crops it. So you can make it really, really small if you want. If you're unhappy, hit Control-Z. You may have to hit it multiple times, and it will go back to how you want it. And it remembers it quite a bit. There we're back to normal. But you can move that around as well. If you just click it, like I said, you can scoot it around wherever you like. And what happens is, even if I go off of OBS, like I'm back on Audacity, now I can't see myself anymore because I'm not looking at OBS, so I can't see myself. But I'm still there, right? I'm still there. So that's what you want to do if you want people to see your face. And it's depends on what kind of work you're doing. Especially for giving lectures, I want students to see my face. I've been told it adds a little bit more to the video. You feel like there's a real person there. You can see the person's facial expression. It just feels more normal. But other times you may not want to do that, especially if you're making like a documentary or something like that. But that's just the basics of using OBS. One issue though, of course, with OBS is that you're always going to have a few seconds where you start the program to when you shift over to the program you're looking at. So like, let's say I'm doing an Audacity tutorial. When I start OBS, it's going to be like this, and then I have to wait a few seconds and then start talking for Audacity. So I'm going to have that few seconds of that beginning of the tutorial where it has nothing to do with the tutorial, it's just me setting up. And that's where something like Shotcut, which I've talked in other videos about how to do, that's really nice. You can use Shotcut to edit out those first few seconds and then the last few seconds where you close. So hopefully that's helpful. OBS, I think, is a really simple program to use, but it's really amazing what it lets you do.